All right, guys, in today's video, we're getting rid of this dirty power modified sine wave and going to pure sine wave in our RV. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time since a video. Sorry about that, but I got a lot of content coming. Today, we're focusing on the RV. We are moving into summer now, and it's boating season for us. And I want to get my inverter updated in my Jayco Precept. There she is. I got a lot going on. We're getting Project Warlock ready. Got to get the motorhome set up. And I'm going to show you how we're going to swap this inverter. So to give you guys kind of some context on what I'm doing, in our motorhome, in our Jayco Precept, a lot of motorhomes comes with a modified sine wave inverter. A lot of people refer to those as like a dirty power inverter. They don't have the cleanest energy and they work fine for most things, but when you get to more delicate electronics, it can become a little bit problematic. And one of the issues that I'm running into is we're now running a Starlink, which I love. I'm gonna do a video on that at some point, really showing my review of my experiences with it, but it's been great. But I noticed that the router for the Starlink, when I'm running it on my inverter, when I'm dry camping, I mean, that thing hums really loud. Did a little research and it's because I'm feeding all that dirty energy. So we are going to get rid of the onboard 1000 watt modified sine wave, and we're going to actually do an upgrade, not just to pure sine wave, which is clean energy, but we're also going to jump to 3000 watts. So let's dig into this. Okay, so here's our task. Our new 3000 watt pure sine wave inverter. So very important, so we get that clean electricity to be able to power our delicate electronics and then our remote panel. So our situation is this is our old remote panel. So we need to swap those two out. So this guy's gonna have to be removed. Unfortunately, Xantrex hardwires it in, which sucks. So I'm actually gonna take this apart and I might be able to get to the plug behind this, but I have a feeling it's just hardwired. And there's hardly any slack, which is typical of RV stuff. So we're gonna have to we're gonna do one of two things. We're either gonna cut this off and we're gonna crimp on a new, it's like a telephone cable, which is pretty simple. So we might have to splice or do something there. Or if there is a plug behind it, which I doubt there is, I'll just take these screws off and look just to be safe. And then back here, basically what I have is I've got the bed lifted up. I removed the cover panel, and there is our modified sine wave inverter. This is only 1000 watts. So again, we're going to do a nice little upgrade at the same time we're in here. So the goal is to rip that guy out, put in the new 3000 watt, and then there's that wire coming out of the inside of it. That's that telecommunications wire or telephone wire. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to somehow figure out how to get from A to B there. So I don't know, this wire runs down. I'll have to look and see if it's exposed underneath the motorhome. I doubt that it is. It's probably run kind of through a cavern there, which is going to kind of stink because I could just run one of those new telephone wires pretty easily. But in this case, I might have to do some splicing, but we'll figure that out. So at this point right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut all the power off. So I'm going to hit the main breaker. Keep in mind that these positive, negative wires will still be hot, so you can unhook those from your battery because that's, again, going to be something you want to make sure you disconnect. And then we're going to unscrew, get this thing out of here, take a look at the footprint, and decide what we have to do to get this kind of retrofitted. Should be pretty straightforward, just might take a little bit of work, maybe a few connectors, but I'll show you what we come up with. Okay, so we have our inverters out. Let me kind of show you the difference of what's going on here. So on our new 3000 watt we got off Amazon, we've got a positive and a negative terminal. And then on this guy here on the Xantrex, same thing, a positive and negative terminal. So those guys are just going to go right to here. Now on this particular one, which might have to extend, is this is the additional ground wire that's required. And instead of being on the back like this guy is, on this one, it's all the way up here on the front down below. So we're going to have to potentially run a longer wire to get to that. No big deal. Now, this is the tricky part on these. So this particular inverter has an AC out and an AC in. AC out is obviously going to the things you want to power with your inverter, which is already all pre-wired in your motorhome. AC in is for when power comes in from like the generator, for example, and basically what it does is it switches over to where it's going to use that power instead of pulling from the batteries. Okay, so that's the difference there. So on this particular 3000 watt, it does not have anything like that that I can see. It's only got this side here, which is going to be that power out, which is going to go to the things we want to power. So I need to figure out how we're going to coordinate with that. So I'm going to do a little bit of my own research and homework, and there are workarounds. We just got to figure out the easiest way to do it. If you find an inverter that happens to have both the in and the out, that would be ideal. In this case, with the price point of this, the specs I want it to be at, also having the type of remote that is going to monitor my voltage, which the other one did not. I can actually see how many watts that this is putting out and pulling, which I'd like to see. Helps me optimize things. This was going to be the right choice for me. And the price point was very, very good and great reviews. So let me kind of do a little research on that. We'll figure out what we want to do. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and get this guy bolted up and in there and get it mounted. And then we can go through and decide what we're doing about the AC in, AC out scenario. Okay, so pardon the light here, but what I'm going to do is, since this is hardwired and not a plug, which sucks, I wish they'd just do the plugs on it, but what we're going to do is we're going to actually pull this guy up as far as we can and cut it. And then down here, I've just taken out the panel to where I can access the cable. So what I'll be able to do is by cutting it up here, I can then pull it down through and I'll have a bunch of slack to work with, and I'll splice in a longer section, bring it back up through, and I'll be good to go. And then in the future, I'll have extra slack to work with if I switch it out to something different. All right, so I did my homework, and the reason there are the two different, there's an input and an output is because the factory Zantac inverter has a built-in transfer switch, which is really, really cool. Unfortunately, the one I bought doesn't have a transfer switch, and most of the inverters I researched that hit all the specs I wanted, like a certain type of readout for the remote, having the 3000 watts, and some of the other features, and also good reviews, those did not have transfer switches. The ones that I read that had really good reviews that did hit most of the specs I was looking for were significantly more expensive than the inverter I bought. So what I did is I actually just went and got a transfer switch. The transfer switch is about $130. This is going to let me run any inverter I want without having to worry about having the transfer switch. And by the time I added up the cost of the pure sine wave 3000 watt inverter that I got, plus the transfer switch, I was saved a couple $100 from the inverters that did have the transfer switch built into it. So I think this is kind of a better way to go for me. So when you pick your inverter, if you're switching from the modified sine wave to the pure sine wave, or going up from, like, for example, in my case, 1000 to 3000 watts, you'll just want to take a look and see if yours has the built-in transfer switch. If it does, you can order one or find one that has the transfer switch. If not, then you can just get an add-on transfer switch like I did. All right, so the transfer switch I went with is actually a PowerMax brand. I've actually used these guys' power supplies before for some other things I've done. I've had really good luck with them. Actually, one of my buddies still has their power supply, and it's been running for like 12 years, which is awesome. So felt pretty comfortable buying this brand. It was also one of the most cost effective. I went with a 50 amp version. They also sell a 30 amp because our motorhome is a 50 amp motorhome. I felt it was best to go with the 50 amp. This will handle, I believe, 120 or 240. We're only running 120. So there's going to be some outlets we don't use, like this auxiliary and this L2. Okay. So I've got a bit of a mess going on. I'm going to clean all this up before we're done. I left this long piece of Romex because I don't know exactly where things are going to mount, but I wanted to test everything before I mounted it, and I will trim this down to the appropriate length. Okay, so here's the wiring layout for our inverter. So on this particular power converter, the generator side is what they call the primary. So when power comes into both sides, it's going to always take the primary, which is the generator side. So this side, that's where we have the 120 coming in. On this side, where it says power cord, that's actually where we're connecting to our inverter, because we always want the 120 to have the priority over the inverter. And this, of course, is going right out to our control panel, which is going to be powering up the items we want run by the inverter when the inverter's on. And what this switch is going to do for us is whenever 120 comes in, meaning we have the generator on or we're hooked to shore power, it's going to disengage the power coming from the inverter, so that load goes away. And then in turn, the shore power is sent to our control panel. So very, very simple. Everything works perfectly. Okay, so at this point where I'm at is this is our transfer switch that was here previously. This transfers between shore power and generator. That's that guy's job. Your motor, I'm sure you have one of those. There's our new 3000 watt inverter. We've got it bolted down, so it's good to go. Now what we need to do is find a place for this new transfer switch. Ideally, you want to keep it away from carpet, not for heat, but mainly keep dust and debris out of it from clogging up the connectors. So, because I do not have a lot of room in here, we're getting pretty cramped. And normally I would bolt it right down here, but we've got carpet. So I have this divider panel here, which bolts down there. This is going to provide additional support for the cover for this that's going to bolt down once everything's done. And I believe I'm just going to mount it right there, so that way it's going to be off on its side, bolted to this, and it'll mount right in this location out of the way. So I do need to shorten my wire. I just used this really long Romex to temporarily check and make sure everything worked, which it worked perfectly. So now we're going to basically mount this guy, shorten the wire, connect it to the inverter, and then we can zip all this up and make sure everything is done. All right, so we're all installed. So we've got our centerpiece, which is a brace for our top panel. I've got the 3000 watt new inverter bolted down. That is our transfer switch that came with the motorhome, which switches between solar and generator. Here's our new transfer switch, which is going to switch between the inverter and the 120 based on the power coming out of this guy. So we're all set. Everything works perfectly. Man, it's just crazy how much wiring is in these things. It's pretty nutty. But we're gonna now fasten this all back up. We're gonna put the lid back on, and I will show you how well this system works. All right, guys, we got it all buttoned up. So let me show you how this works. All right, so bed's all put away. Everything's back to normal there. We're gonna fire up our inverter. So we're currently running on just the batteries alone. So the things that are currently operating here, we're pulling around 10 watts, okay? So basically from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave the inverter on, but we are gonna fire up the generator. Gonna get that guy going. And that should shut off the inverter. Okay, so generator's on. So it's gonna take a little bit of time because everything's got to transfer over. Right now you can see we're pulling 10 watts. So we're gonna give this a moment and the transfer switches should do their job. Okay, so we just had the transfer switch turn on, which is the one that separates the shore power from the generator. And now we're waiting for the transfer switch we installed, the new PowerMax one that runs the inverter. And there it goes. So our inverter just basically shut down as far as the power goes. So that basically means the inverter is no longer providing the power. The generator is now taking care of the power. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna leave the inverter on. It's just sitting idle, it's not doing any work. And you could also see the readouts like the voltage. So we're charging right now, we're at 13,914. And then it shows the little battery meter here, but you're mainly looking at this number. We're on lithium, so we wanna be at 14 to balance our cells. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna turn the generator off and everything is gonna flip back over. So the generator just went off and the inverter is now kicked back on. So the inverter is now running the power to everything. And you can see that our charging rate stopped. We dropped down to 13.4. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it. That's wrapping up the install. I can tell you we've actually snuck out and used this a few times and it's worked great. Our Starlink, which is what really brought the attention of the pure sine wave as opposed to the modified sine wave, that router now is quiet. It doesn't make any noise at all. While with the old modified sine wave, you're hearing nothing but buzzing the whole time, which is really hard on the components. So as we plug in laptops or computers or other things that are more sensitive electronics, that basically solves that problem. So up next, we're going to put the inverter to use because we are heading out to the river. We're going to Pirates Cove. So we're going to get our Warlock boat all fired up and ready to go. I'm going to have a video coming on that. And I'm going to show you how we actually tow a 25-foot boat behind this 32-foot motorhome. A lot of people think that's scary to do, but I'm going to show you how easy it actually is. So see you guys in the next video. Thanks for liking and subscribing.